Okay, can everyone hear me? That's good. Okay, my journey from Cygnet to Swan. Hi everyone, my name's Sarah. I'm 23 years old. Yeah, really, I am. And I have Asperger's syndrome. I live in Edinburgh. I'm the oldest of 4 sisters. My sisters are all neurotypical. And I would like to say that during this, if I pause, it's actually because I'm ticking off everything as I go along. I forget things really easily, so I might end up repeating the same thing. We'll be here forever if I do that. So I was diagnosed in 2005 when I was 12, but my parents had realised that I was having problems from the age of 7, although before that I'd been very shy and anxious in social situations. As their first child, they didn't really know that it might be autism. They had no experience and it was a lot less recognised back then. When I was in school, I had lots of difficulties and struggled just to be there. The noise, lots of people around me, sensory issues, teachers not understanding when I got stressed or upset about things. My mum had to come and take me home quite often. Teachers would just put me out of class. I was referred to the educational psychologist who said I was just naughty. So according to that psychologist, basically just if you've got someone with autism, apparently you should just put them in a room and tell them to behave. That might work. In the end, my mum took me to our GP who referred us to CAMS, and that's when the diagnostic process began, although it took 5 years. When I went to high school, it was even worse, and before long, it was impossible to be in a classroom. I ended up just doing my work in a guidance space. Back then, about 10 years ago, nobody seemed to know or understand about autism or how it felt to be me. I left school and I was only 15. As my birthday's in September, I should have stayed until Christmas, but I was so unhappy that school decided, because they were giving me so much support every day, I might just be happier at college. A lady from Career Scotland helped me with the application and interview process, and even helped me with learning to make the journey to and from college every day on a bus. I enjoyed this, although she did find it funny that it was always raining when she came to meet me, so she kind of blamed the weather on me. I went to Stevenson College in Edinburgh on a college preparation course aimed at young people with difficulties, and it was only 3 days a week. The course consisted of vocational modules as well as core subjects and helped me to gain better results in these. I did really well with lots of support, and at the end of the year I was given the award for the student who made most progress. We then had a major house move to Dunfermline. My mum helped me apply for a Carnegie College course for a creative arts course, which included arts and crafts, sewing, jewellery, and pottery and drama. Carnegie College also gave me lots of support from learning support and the tutors. I had quite a few emotional problems due to having moved house. It also didn't help that in 2010 it was the worst weather for many years. The staff had helped me to devise a signal for if I had to leave class for a time out without making it look like I was just storming out. The signal was I needed to wash my hands. Sometimes I'd be gone for a minute or 2, other times I'd stay out longer. The college was small and cosy, which suited me well, and it was only a mile from my house. I no longer felt I was able to travel there on the bus, so my mum would give me a lift every single day, taking my sisters to school. I managed okay getting home. The first year I walked, in rain or shine, or in 2010, 10 feet of snow. Eventually I felt okay about getting the bus. Looking back, I think it was just me being more anxious about arriving late in college, but when I was coming home, it didn't really matter if I came home a bit later. After that course, I had to choose what course I was going to progress on. So I actually chose drama, and my mum thought I wouldn't be able to cope with it. It was a massive challenge. I had absolutely no confidence at all, but I persuaded her. I studied acting and performance for 4 years and graduated last year with a HND. I hate to say it, but I told you so, Mum. When I was in my last 2 years, we decided to move back to Edinburgh. but I couldn't get a place in Edinburgh College, so I stayed in Dunfermline and travelled there and back every day, 2.5 hours in the morning and then 2.5 hours again at night. It was really difficult, especially with the 5:30 wake-ups. But I will admit, for the first few weeks, it got me out of the dishes rota, because for a while I wasn't even home at that point. In my last year at college, we took a trip to London with our tutors. The thought terrified me, but I was determined to go, as I didn't want to be the only one to not go and then listen to everyone talking about it when we got back. My mum helped me to prepare by making a talking mat for me, and we discussed possible pitfalls, how to deal with them. She also did things like call ahead to the hostel and arrange for me to have access to the disabled bathroom, and then turned my talking mat into cards on a keyring so I could refer to them at any time. I was in a dorm room with 14 other girls, so I took earplugs, my favourite cuddly toy, and a hot water bottle to help me deal with all the noise and busyness. It actually turned out I was the noisiest in the room. Before I went on the trip, I asked my tutors if I could give a talk to my class about autism, how it makes me feel, and how people should treat me and deal with me, in case I had a meltdown or anything. This went really well, and people who'd previously been intolerant were suddenly more understanding. This is when they finally found out why I was actually going out to wash my hands. I actually never told anyone, so they were quite amazed that I'd kept it quiet. The trip was a definite experience, that's for sure. The first night I called my mum, but I ended up hanging up because hearing her was actually making me more upset than being away. I missed her, but luckily not enough to head home. The second day we did some drama workshops, and due to lack of sleep from the previous night, I ended up having a meltdown in the middle of the street. But my amazing tutors helped me and calmed me down quickly. My mum will remember that later that night I confessed to her that I was actually in the bar with my friends, and that every time you show your room card, you get a free shot. I won't tell you how many I actually had, but Mum actually did say that I was very calm. Don't recommend it though. The next day, I was so sad to go home, but was also excited because I got to see my mum at the train station. I was very proud at my graduation ceremony, although one of the college staff did have to go on stage with me, as I was terrified. It didn't help that I was first up, and what are the odds? I'm first up today. A lot more camera this time. My mum may have sorted the robe for my height of 5'2", but the wide one-size-fits-all gown meant I kept tripping up. I did actually trip up when going to the top as well. During this time, my mum was having a 2-year battle with social work department and finally managed to secure a direct payment for 10 hours a week of support for me. My mum also had to give up her job as I was struggling to cope with everything. I was having so many meltdowns, so she is now my full-time carer and deals with everything for me and my 3 sisters. We do not see my dad very often, but I actually suspect that he's on the spectrum as well. I now have a team of outreach workers with AI who take me to all my weekly activities, except for my sewing group. My mum wouldn't let me go to that without her. My younger sisters sometimes also act as support workers for me. I have a befriender called Erin who takes me out on social outings to help build my confidence. She's a really great friend and we get on so well. She understands my autism brilliantly. I have a boyfriend called Jack. He lives in London and he's also on the autistic spectrum. We see each other every couple of months for a couple of weeks, and that feels just enough, and then we're happy to be on our own again until the next time. I also take quite a few medications. It has been quite a long time to get the dosage right, and sometimes I feel quite fuzzy from it all. My mum knows that on those days, just let me stay in and have my peace and quiet. Since leaving college, I've been unable to work due to my anxiety and depression. However, I'm doing lots of things which make use of my creative and drama skills. My mum and I tried different things. Some were not so successful, so we did not continue, but now I have a weekly schedule of activities which I love. My sewing class is called A Stitch in Time, where we do charity projects. upcycling, community projects, and I've made some friends who also like sewing. We recently we did this project called Little Dresses for Africa. You basically make a dress out of pillowcases. Me and my mum made 55 of them in 2 weeks. I was responsible for 29 of those. Our teachers showed us lots of new skills, and we go home and make lots of stuff during the week. From this, my mum and I are hoping to start our own little business, making items to sell. I've brought some to show you. So this was the first project that we worked on. It's usually a scissors case, but you can pretty much put whatever you want in it. I'm actually famous for not ever making one of these, because I actually made the first one half, and then I stormed off in a huff and refused to make it the rest of the time. So my mum actually made this, but this is one of the things we make. I've also brought along, basically, I make my dog's clothes. This one's not quite finished because the Velcro's still arriving. Basically, my dogs are Chihuahuas, and originally I couldn't find anything to fit them, so I decided why not make my own. It's cheaper in the long run, and so that's one of the items that I'm making. Yeah, that's them. That's Dane on that side, and that's Ripley on the other side. And I also brought along one of the pillowcase dresses. Mum, can you help me lift it up? This is one of the pillowcase dresses. I actually realised yesterday that I didn't actually have one to show, because all of the dresses that we made are on their way to Africa right now. So I made this morning in a bit of a rush. So that's the things that we've been making, and hopefully make even more things. I've also set up a fundraising page to raise money to pay for all the extra things we need to make the dresses, as it's actually quite expensive, but we've been getting some donations, including actual pillowcases from places like Freecycle, as well as from everyone I know. We actually have a huge box full of pillowcases, but I reckon that they're going to be gone instantly. I also go to tap dancing classes. I started in absolute beginners level, and I've repeated some levels as my coordination is not very good. I also present a show on SAM Radio, and I make use of my acting and performing skills. SAM stands for Scottish Autistic Media, a radio set up by Paul Ross, who also has Asperger's, with the help of his mum, Sheila, and his dad, Phil. One of them is always in the studio to help support Paul and the presenters. Everyone who presents or guests on SAM Radio either has autism or is involved with someone who has autism, either personally or professionally. Organisations can also come in for a one-off slot or a regular show and do a talk or interview someone to let everyone know what they do. To prepare for my show, I have a SAM notebook, and during the week I make notes about what I've done, and I chat about them on my show. I'll definitely have plenty to talk about tomorrow. Please listen to my show if you can. I can tell you how to find the radio station afterwards. There's also going to be details on the screen. It's the green dog, not one of my dogs, thankfully. I also go to a girls group at number 6 in Edinburgh. It's a one-stop shop and a drop-in centre for anyone over 16 with Asperger's or high-functioning autism. Number 6 supports with benefits, housing, job hunting, counselling, as well as social groups. I'm also in the Edinburgh Playhouse Choir. We perform in the Fringe, as well as some charity performances. I absolutely love it, and my confidence has grown up that I actually now help lead one of the warm-ups at the start. I also love to do cross-stitch. I'm making some really big projects on the go right now, but I haven't really done much lately because of the little dresses and my dogs, which, funnily enough, haven't been sleeping that well lately. I also have a blog on Facebook, and it's called In Stitches with Asperger's. I'm sure that'll come up at some point. It's to keep everyone up to date with what's happening with me, so please give it a like. It'll pop up on the screen. About 15 months ago, I moved into my own flat. I manage mostly, but I do go back to my mum's quite often. Unfortunately, as soon as I'd moved out my stuff, the very same day, while my mum was driving me down to my new flat, my sister then just piled all her stuff into that room. So now I have to sleep on the sofa if I ever go along. But that's okay. And of course, anyone who knows me, I always wanted a dog. As soon as I got confirmation the flat was mine, got a puppy. I later intended on getting another one, maybe in a few years, but I got a bit impatient and a few months ago I got another one. So I've got the two of them. They're both under the age of 2 right now, so that's definitely interesting. They really help me to focus if I'm feeling stressed, and they also get me out, as normally I'd be very reclusive, but of course dogs need to go walks. Even combining my sewing skills, as you've seen, I make all of their jackets, except for that one. I have made previous jackets out of pre-loved jeans, some of them belonging to my sister. We get a lot of admiration when we're out and about. We even have had people asking if they can take our photo in Edinburgh. Sometimes I do get a little sad. I can't do things that a regular 23-year-old can, working for example. But on the other hand, I get opportunities to do lots of fun things, and I'm very lucky to have support from my family, my befriender Erin, my boyfriend Jack, and my outreach team. So I've ran out of things to say, so I guess I'm done now. Thank you for listening.